Something was clearly wrong. But what could make her children so afraid? The next day, Sarah came home earlier than usual. The twins weren't in the living room. She called their names, but no answer. Then she heard soft sobs coming from the attic. Slowly, she climbed the creaky wooden stairs. The attic door was slightly ajar. Through the crack, she saw them sitting on an old blanket, surrounded by dusty boxes of their father's belongings. Emma was crying, and Ethan had his arm around her, whispering gently. Then, like before, they kissed, not out of confusion or innocence, but out of comfort, like two people trying to heal something too big for their hearts. Sarah's hands trembled as she pushed the door open. The twins gasped. "Mom!" Ethan shouted, jumping up. Emma wiped her tears quickly. Sarah's voice cracked. "What's going on here? Why are you crying? Why do you keep—" She hesitated, her throat tightening. Kissing each other like that. For a long moment neither spoke. Then Emma broke down again, sobbing uncontrollably. Ethan tried to hold her, but Sarah stepped closer. "Please," she pleaded, "tell me the truth." Between sobs, Emma whispered, "We didn't want you to know, Mom." "Know what?" Sarah demanded, tears filling her eyes. Ethan looked down, then slowly pointed to one of the open boxes beside them. Inside were old medical documents, files Sarah hadn't seen since Michael's accident. She picked one up, confused, and began to read. And then the world around her seemed to shatter. The papers revealed something she had never known. The hospital records showed that during the emergency C-section when she gave birth prematurely, there had been a terrible mix-up. One of the babies, Emma, had been switched at birth. The real biological daughter of Sarah and Michael had died shortly after birth, and Emma belonged to another family. Sarah's breath caught in her chest. Her knees went weak. She felt like the floor was vanishing beneath her. The next day, she decided to observe quietly. After dinner, she pretended to wash dishes but kept her eyes on the reflection in the kitchen window. The twins sat close together on the couch, watching cartoons, their heads resting against each other. Then Emma leaned forward, kissed Ethan's cheek, and whispered something. Ethan smiled and kissed her back softly. Sarah's heart ached. She didn't want to jump to conclusions, but the tenderness in their actions was more than simple sibling affection. It felt almost desperate. That night, after they went to bed, Sarah sat in the dark living room, staring at the framed photo of her late husband. "Michael," she whispered, her voice trembling. "What's happening to our babies? What am I missing?" Tears streamed down her face as she clutched the photo to her chest. The next morning, she decided to talk to their teacher, Mrs. Gibson, a kind older woman who had known the family for years. After classes, Sarah pulled her aside. "Have you noticed anything strange about Ethan and Emma lately?" she asked softly. Mrs. Gibson smiled warmly. "Strange? Oh no, they're wonderful kids. Always together. In fact, it's beautiful how protective they are of each other. Just last week, Ethan stood up for Emma when some older kids teased her, and Emma wouldn't eat lunch until Ethan got his food too. They share everything. It's quite touching." Sarah forced a smile, but deep down her worry only grew. That night she decided to check on them again. As she passed their room, she heard faint whispering. She pushed the door open slightly. The room was dimly lit by the nightlight shaped like a little moon. The twins sat on their bed, holding hands tightly. Emma's face was wet with tears. "Don't cry, Em," Ethan whispered. "I'll never let them take you away. Never." Sarah froze. "Take her away? Who?" She backed out silently, her heart pounding. That night she barely slept, her mind spinning in circles. It started with something so small, so innocent, that at first, Sarah didn't think much of it. Every morning before school and every night before bed, her twin children, Ethan and Emma, would kiss each other on the cheek. They were just 8 years old, full of laughter, curiosity, and mischief. It was cute, the kind of pure love only siblings could share. But then, as days passed, Sarah began noticing it wasn't just a quick peck. Their kisses seemed different, longer, more emotional. It was subtle but unsettling. And one evening, when she saw them from the kitchen window, standing in the garden under the fading orange sky, holding hands and kissing again, something in her heart froze. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of love that heals, then please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts around the world. Sarah was a devoted single mother. Her husband, Michael, had passed away in a car accident when the twins were just 3. Since then, every breath she took, every tear she wiped, was for them. She worked double shifts at the local hospital as a nurse, often coming home exhausted but still managing to smile for her children. Ethan and Emma were her world, bright, polite, and inseparable. They had the same brown eyes as their father, the same mischievous smile that used to make Sarah's heart flutter. She used to say they were 2 halves of one soul, but lately she felt a strange distance between them and her. They whispered to each other often, shared secrets, and sometimes went silent when she entered the room. At first, she thought it was just children being playful. But that evening in the garden, the image of them kissing stayed burned in her mind. She couldn't sleep that night. Every possible thought haunted her. What's happening to my children? Are they being influenced by something? Did someone hurt them? Laura was kind and gentle, and though she wanted to know Emma, she didn't want to break her world apart. They decided together that Emma would stay with Sarah, but also meet Laura often. It was not an ending. It was the start of something new. In the following months, Sarah noticed a change in her twins. They smiled more, laughed freely, and no longer hid their fears. The kisses that once caused her confusion now brought her comfort. They still kissed each other every morning and every night, but now she understood. Those kisses weren't about fear anymore. They were about connection, about gratitude, about family. One evening, Sarah watched them from the porch as they played under the same golden sunset where she had once misunderstood them. The light fell gently on their faces, and she whispered, "Love doesn't need blood to be real. It just needs a heart that never gives up." And she meant it with every breath in her soul. So if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that family is built not by blood, but by love, by moments, by faith, then please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It helps us continue sharing stories that bring hope and healing to the world. And before you go, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below. What does family mean to you? Because sometimes it's in sharing our stories that we remind each other what truly matters. "No," she whispered. "That's impossible." Ethan spoke softly, his eyes filled with tears. "We found these last month when we were looking for Dad's pictures. We didn't understand at first, but then we found the name of the other family. Emma found their house online." Sarah stared at her daughter, who was trembling. "You went to see them?" Emma nodded. "Yes, just once. I saw the woman. She looked like me, Mom, her eyes, her smile. She hugged me and cried. She said she'd been looking for me all these years." Sarah's heart broke into 1,000 pieces. She couldn't breathe. All this time, all these years, her daughter wasn't hers by blood, and yet she was hers in every other way. She had held her through fevers, kissed her scrapes, taught her to walk and talk. Love had made her Emma's mother. "But why," she whispered through tears, "why were you two kissing like that?" Ethan took Emma's hand gently. "Because she's scared, Mom. She said if the other family tries to take her back, we might be separated. She said she doesn't want to lose us. Or you. I promised her I'd protect her no matter what. So every time she cries, I tell her I'll never let anyone take her, and I kiss her, like Dad used to kiss us, to make her stop crying." In that instant, Sarah felt her heart melt completely. What she had seen as something strange or wrong was nothing but pure, innocent love between two souls who feared losing each other. She fell to her knees, pulling them both into her arms. All three of them cried together for a long time, not because of the truth, but because of the love that truth couldn't destroy. Days later, Sarah contacted the hospital. After investigations, they confirmed the unimaginable mistake. The other mother, Laura, had indeed been searching for her lost daughter for years. When Sarah met her, both women collapsed into each other's arms, their pain too deep for words.